under our third caution from Kentucky Speedway. This time it was the 0-1 of Jake Crum who got into the wall, but he wasn't the only driver who had his hands full just after that most recent restart. Take a look.
Check out Johnny Sauter. Gets a run down on the bottom film. We talked about these restarts and starts being really tough. You're in a big pack. You got trucks all over you. Johnny Sauter's got a chance to win this race, but watch. It almost goes away for him right there, and he could have took his teammate with him.
Yeah, and Matt Crafton did not pinch him down either. Johnny had plenty of room. Just got loose. Let's listen.
Whoa, look at that thing turn, and then he catches it. Just barely misses his teammate.
Clear coming inside. Got a line of them down there.
See all the momentum he loses here.
We talked about that before the race. They pack these things together. Heck, they had full of fuel, old tires. That makes them difficult to drive as well. So a lot of things stacking up against these guys.
Yeah, typically, you want to match the fuel with the tires. If you put if you fill it with fuel, you want new tires. If you have old tires, you don't want that full of fuel because of the length of this racetrack, of this race, and how many sets of tires they get. This is a bad combination where they basically almost everybody in the field put fuel in with no new tires.
Ray, has the 13 radio been pretty entertaining up to this point?
It's always fun to listen in to Johnny Sauter, guys, but I'll tell you, he's pretty happy with that Hot Honey's truck when he goes into 1 and 2, but he said 3 and 4 are just evil. He said it feels like he's got a flat tire every time he enters into 3, and that it bounces like a basketball. His crew chief, Joe Shear Jr., said, we'll work on it for you. We're still in pretty good shape. They roll off in 6th.
Yeah, not bad. After that big wiggle, he's going to restart in the 6th spot. How about young Kyle Larson has been able to make the move up to the 15th position after starting in the back.
Not bad. Just like Johnny Sauter, that's a good move for that kid. Ty Dillon has only made it up to the 12th spot, so he's been able to pretty much match what Ty's done. So great job for Kyle.
Yeah, a lot of talent doing a great job. 3rd in points in the K&N Pro Series East, including a win already at Gresham.
This time it's Buescher and Lofton making up row number 1. Buescher working his way down the racetrack, trying to pinch the 6 down a little bit lower. Green flag back in the air.
Brad Keselowski jumps to the inside of Matt Crafton.
Parker Kligerman trying to give that 31 a little shove as they work their way into 1 and 2. Lofton very strong on the bottom of the racetrack.
These guys don't wait around to make a move in the trucks, do they? As soon as they throw the green flag, you're going to get all you can get right now. Love the action.
Matt Crafton was leading this race before that first caution. Now he goes high. He's slipping around up high. And how he finds himself back on the tail end of the top 10.
Oh, went into the wall for.
Is that PK?
Nelson Piquet Jr. in the 30. Doesn't look like he hit very hard, but right up against it. We see him 3 wide, 4th position. Timothy Peters on the bottom of the racetrack. Joey Coulter in the middle. Matt Crafton up on the high side.
Well, it didn't scare PK. We know that much. He's still hard in the gas.
Slow down, and he has it.
Ty Dillon working to the inside of that 88 of Crafton, 4th position. Ty's probably saying, I'm going to stay on the bottom of the track for a while. I don't want guys drifting up the track into me.
Well, he almost drifted up the track into Matt Crafton. Matt had a big run on the outside, and Ty found himself in a really vulnerable spot there. And look right behind Ty Dillon, the guy that was in the wall on the last lap, Nelson Piquet Jr.
2 and 3 wide once again, coming through turn 1 and 2 and down the backstretch.
They race like this every lap, as hard as they can go, because the races are so short. You better get it all done right now. Some guys started in the back. We saw Joey Coulter with a poor qualifying run, but a fast truck in practice today. He's on the gas.
Miguel Paludo in the 32 working to the inside of that 81 of David Starr. Let's go to Hermie.
Yeah, the 22 of Joey Coulter is one of the fastest trucks on the racetrack. He started back in 16th position. He's made his way up inside the top 10 and continues to make passes. Kyle Larson also as well started in the back. Remember, he made that engine change. He's been very quiet on the radio, but 2 young drivers, very impressive so far, are the 4 and the 22.
I'd love to throw this question at you guys and say, okay, the track temperature is coming down. We heard it's already closing in on 100 degrees as opposed to what we saw earlier, 120 plus. Wouldn't there be more grip on the racetrack? Because right now it seems like everyone's sliding all over the place.
The answer to your question is yes.
Undoubtedly, but it gives more grip to the front tires, Rick. These trucks are set up so much around that front suspension, how that truck goes down the racetrack with the nose right on the ground. So when you add more grip, the end that is most positive is going to get the grip first. That's the front end. The back end is sliding around. So these teams actually figure they might get a little bit looser as the night goes on. And guess what? They're going to get faster too. And that's a heck of a combination.
And again, we still have, from phenomenon of the full of fuel and old tires too.
So a lot more weight in the back of these vehicles on older tires.
And I'm not going to explain all that to my driver. I'm just going to say, I think this will be a really good combination for you here. Hang on to that baby.
We'll get you tuned up on that next pit stop. We'll put tires on the next time.
Ron Hornaday running the bottom of the racetrack, trying to get by the 13 of Johnny Sauter. Here comes the 88 of Matt Crafton once again. Looks like he's getting a little momentum back.
Yeah, that was a tough start for him because ever since he fell back to just outside, right on the edge of the top 10, he's just marched right back through these trucks.
He really has his hands full on the restarts. So he drives it in there right beside Ron Hornaday. He doesn't lean on it too much because he knows how loose that truck gets. That's an experienced move right there.
It reminds you of his teammate Johnny Sauter down in Texas. Remember when Johnny couldn't really make an aggressive move on the bottom? Feels like maybe that's the same situation for the Crafton truck. Those trucks are a little bit loose, but when you get them in clean air, they're really fast.
Right now it's James Buescher out in front of Parker Kligerman by 1.3 seconds. Hornaday running in the 6th spot, just outside the top 5. It's held by Lofton, Keselowski, and Sauter. Sauter holding on to that 5th spot, but now it's Hornaday looking to the inside once again for position number 5.
Hornaday's got a great truck. Timothy Peters too. He's back there just behind Matt Crafton. He's been fast today.
We talked to Ron Hornaday during our qualifying show. He said, I really don't understand, as he makes the move under Johnny Sauter, why we don't really have the speed. The truck feels really, really good. Well, now it's showing up that that truck is good.
And look at this. Matt Crafton to the high side makes it 3 wide as they go into turn number 1. Crafton making the pass on both Sauter and Ron Hornaday.
Woo. Power move. Look at Hornaday tucking right in behind Crafton. Hornaday worked so hard to get around Sauter. He did get around Sauter, but he didn't gain anything.
Look how hard he can drive it in the corner there.
We don't see anybody else running down there either, guys. Ron Hornaday's in a lane all by himself. Everybody's kind of taking the middle road, and Ron's getting it down on the bottom.
Here comes Timothy Peters to the inside of Johnny Sauter, trying to take that spot away. That is for the 7th position. Hornaday has the 6th spot.
Look at that run. Johnny gets through the center of the corner from the high side, though. Their teammates behind them, the 22 of Coulter and the 3 of Ty Dillon. Ty making a great move to the inside. Started all the way back to the back of the pack, now already up into the top 10.
Talked about Kyle Larson moving up from the back. He's kind of plateaued right now at that 15th spot just behind Todd Bodine.
Yeah, Todd got around Kyle on the last lap. So Todd, rebounding from that spin, has a fast truck. He's making his way back toward the front. It's going to get crowded at the front eventually.
Certainly, as he restarted in the 30th spot and only took 7 laps to get back into the top 15. Now Todd right now running 14th.
Nelson Piquet Jr.
just outside the top 10 and 11th, and oh yeah, he ran into the wall already.
Or very close to it as he was coming out of turn 4. He's not afraid of it, though. He works his way on that high line once again as we see side by side with Dillon and Coulter. Again, those two are teammates out of the RCR stable.
Remember how good that truck of Joey Coulter's was in practice. We had 2 practice sessions here earlier today, and he led both of them.
We saw that time Ty Dillon almost having the left side tires down on the yellow line, working his way through 1 and 2. I talked with Nelson Piquet Jr. earlier, and he said a year ago I was able to almost hook the left side tires down on that apron, and it was going to help me turn. He said this year I can't do that. He said, did they change the track? I said, I don't think so.
Oh, Mother Nature changed her a little bit, though. Rough winter and a lot of heat here early in the summer. This thing has given up some grip, maybe created a few more bumps along the way.
Right now it's smooth sailing for the 31 of James Buescher, out in front by a second over Parker Kligerman, Justin Lofton, Brad Keselowski, and Matt Crafton. Those are your top 5. Already 3 cautions. It's been an eventful start to this one, but Buescher, the benefactor, out in front. Welcome back. James Buescher continues to lead. Now he has a 2-second lead over Parker Kligerman. When we went away, it was a 1-second lead. Justin Lofton now making his way to the inside of the 29 of Parker Kligerman, but
not so
doesn't
fast,
have the grip down there. And Parker Kligerman's going to hold on to second for now.
Reminiscent of the 2009 ARCA Racing Series battle for the championship between these 2 drivers.
Hermie Sadler.
Well, Rick, right now both of Brad Keselowski's trucks are in the top 5, but the 29 of Parker Kligerman may have a potential problem. They think the battery is going dead on that 29, and they have told him if it keeps on skipping, he's developed a little bit of a miss to switch to battery number 2. So they do have 2 batteries on that truck, but a potential problem for Kligerman. His boss man, Brad Keselowski, is up to 4th in the 19, running very, very well. A little bit tight on the racetrack. They're talking about adding some tape to the nose when he comes to pit road. Engine water temperature only about 200 for Brad Keselowski.
Okay, he has big problems right now with that 88 of Matt Crafton that Matt drove by Brad Keselowski just as Hermie was finishing up his report to take over that 4th spot. We've been watching the scoring monitor, Michael, and that Matt Crafton's truck has been the fastest truck just about every single lap for the last 10.
Yeah, and another really strong truck just in the back of the top 10 is Joey Coulter. He seems to have gotten that thing lined out too, and every time he goes by, he's one of the top 2 or 3 fastest. So you can see Lofton really working hard to the bottom of Kligerman. It looked like he had him, man, on that one when they went into 2 laps ago, but couldn't hold on to it down on the bottom. We saw how difficult that is to do, and
he's going to try her again, though.
And we're seeing the rubber being laid down on this track getting wider, so the track is widening out, a little bit more room for these guys to race on.
They're going to be using every inch of it. We're seeing a lot of guys run up to the edge of the gray. As you mentioned, the black we looked at the very start of the race was fairly narrow. It certainly has widened out, probably about 50% over what it was when we started.
Most of the field came onto pit road at lap 18, and we've already got to lap 55 now, so about 37 laps that we have gone of green flag racing.
These guys were having quite a battle down the front straightaway. 3 wide with a lap truck of Clay Greenfield. Looks like Joey Coulter was able to come out of it okay, but a little bit tense there for a minute.
Johnny Sauter was able to take over that 7th spot from Timothy Peters. Joey Coulter back in 9th right now.
And Joey Coulter was so disappointed with his qualifying effort. He knew he had a great truck coming in, was one of the fastest in both the 1st and 2nd practices, but wasn't able to back it up in qualifying. So now he's had to work from the back of the field up to the top 10, and he's going to have his work cut out for him now as he's got some pretty stiff competition just in front of him.
See the different lines the trucks taking the corners. Johnny was happy right down on the bottom, while there's the battle for 3rd. See if Matt can make another move toward the front. He's really fast, Phil. You've already talked about the fact that every time he goes by, he's one of the fastest trucks. There's 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah, look at the separation. It was just 2 laps ago that Parker Kligerman looked like he was in jeopardy of losing 2nd to Justin Lofton, and now he's got about a 5-truck lead. And look at Justin Lofton wiggle up high. That allows the 88 of Crafton to get by.
Yeah, with ease. He just drove by him as Justin Lofton was chasing his truck all the way up towards the top of the racetrack.